I tell you, man, being starved, that shit will make you humble like a motherfucker, bro. I mean, it should make you humble. And then you be like, man, why am I starving? You know, you take a good look at yourself, you be like, man, it's gotta be me that's starving my own self, man. Why am I hungry? Why am I starving? Am I eating enough? You know, you ask questions, you know. What am I doing wrong? You know? And somebody tell you on the outside, they'll be like, you know what? You gotta lose that weight. You gotta lose that gut. You can't be having guts and shit. You can't be fat, overweight. You know, you can't be none of that. But yeah, it'll make you humble, man. You know? It's about to work out right now, man. About to get my workout on. You know what I'm saying? You get humbled like a motherfucker. What is this? What type of... I'll try one of these C4s, man. I guess. I could get this is more popular than Rockstar. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think more than yeah, more than Rockstar. I thought you said it.
346 had an extension to remain in Kansas City.
Rockstar was gone.
It's going down, huh? That's about it, man.
325. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I'll try that C4, see what it does. Enhanced endurance. C4. Zero sugar? Oh, come on, man. You got something with sugar in it? Because this is, I guess, zero sugar is better, right? This one got zero sugar.
Huh?
I said, this one got zero sugar. You got one with sugar?
Some more Rockstar on the market.
Too many zero sugar. Zero sugar, zero sugar. I need that sugar, man. I guess I'll just take regular Rockstar. White peach. How much are your Red Bulls? Same. Okay, okay. I'm picky about my energy drink, man. I didn't see the no sugar. I didn't see that. It's regular one. Forget it. I'll just get the regular one, man. Thank you. Right now I'm on an empty stomach, so I need a little bit of sugar, you know, to start my workout with. Zero sugar dries me out. I don't care, man. That it dehydrates me for some reason. But yeah, man, when you're starved for something, you know, sex, companionship, when you're getting starved out, man, that shit will humble your ass like nobody's business. Some people don't become humble though. Some people, they still live in a delusional mindset that they don't have to work hard to get those things. You know? Like they don't have to achieve anything or even work harder than the next man to be able to enjoy those things, man. We live in a world where you have to be on top of your game or you're gonna get starved out, man. If you ain't on top of your fitness, if you're not on top of your money getting, you're just gonna get starved out, man. And so I always promote that bag, man, because that bag is part of who you are. You know, there's a lot of guys on top of their shit. Why you think it's so hard? Because motherfuckers are on top of their shit. They on top of their fitness game. They on top of their money getting. You know what I'm saying? They on top of that shit, bro. You feel me? You know? Competition is fierce. Why? Because motherfuckers, they on top of their shit. You don't want to be starved out. Who want to be starved out? Let that starvation humble your ass to do better, man. You know what I'm saying? Some motherfuckers, they going through life asking all kinds of questions and not knowing what the deal is. You know, they don't even know what's going on. This is a competition. You feel me? Everybody's trying to compete to pass on their genes. You feel me? Everybody's competing to pass on their genetics. That's what it's about. The best man is gonna win. If you ain't on top of your shit, bro, you're gonna lose every single time. Especially going against Chad and Tyrone. Them two dudes, man. Them motherfuckers, they the top guys, man. And they're ruthless, man. Chad and Tyrone is ruthless. You know? You know? So let the game humble you, man. You know, ask questions, figure out what you need to do better, man. Lose weight. Gotta do that. That's competition, man. Can't afford to be out here. Oh, man. Hold on one second. Can't afford to be overweight. You know? Can't afford to be fat and sloppy. You know? That's one thing you can't do, man. It's like slip. You know, sometimes you gotta think like, damn, you know, I'm not getting enough of something. You know, I'm not getting enough. Sometimes you gotta take a good look in the mirror and humble yourself and go back to the drawing board. Like, okay, where did I go wrong? You know, where did I where did I screw up at? And tell me, you know, how can I make it better next time? You know, am I overweight? Am I fat? I mean, am I this and am I that? You know, you gotta think, you gotta ask these questions, man, and then answer them in your head. Like, man, am I overweight? Yes. Am I drinking too much? Yes. You know, if yes and if those are like, if it's yes, everything, then it's like, okay, I gotta stop doing this. I gotta stop doing that to make things a little bit better in my life. You know, because it's making it worse. What you're doing, your behavior could be making things worse. You know, it's not making things better in your life. It's making things worse. You're drinking too much, it's making things worse. You know, you're overweight. You ain't got your six-pack in check. It's making things worse in life. It's not making things better. And you gotta ask yourself, is drinking every night making things better? If the answer is no, then okay, we gotta focus on making things better. And that means don't drink every single goddamn night. Like tonight, I think I'm gonna skip out on drinking. I'm gonna just heal my body up after I get done working out, and then we'll drink tomorrow night. Fuck shit, you know what I'm saying? We gotta drink some water though. We gotta drink some water. You know what I'm saying? You're just trying to make things better in your life. That's all it is, man. You want to be happy. Every man want, you know, excuse me. Every man want companionship. Every man want a woman. Every man want to be desired. And vice versa too. You know, women want to be desired. That's why they spend countless hours in the gym trying to make themselves look good. And we got to do the same thing, man. Spend countless hours in the workouts trying to make ourselves look good for a mate. You know, it makes things easier to pass on your genetics. When you're overweight, man, and especially if you ain't got no money, it just makes everything harder. It ain't making it easier for you to pass on your genetics. It's making things harder. you just running up a hill for no apparent reason, bro. When you really don't need to run up that hill. You take an easier path. You know, running on flat land. You know, that's the easier part. So why would you want to choose running up a hill versus running on flat land? You know, run up a hill and you got skates on. You know, you running up a hill, you got skates on, bro. You just making things harder for yourself without knowing it. You're not conscious. You know what I'm saying? You don't know that you're making things harder for yourself. You know, you don't even know it. You sleepwalking. You a zombie. You know what I'm saying? You don't know that you're making it harder for yourself drinking every night, taking away your looks. It is affecting the way you look, man. And you're getting old on top of that. Man, you better have a six-pack. feel what I'm saying? Better have a six-pack. I still got body fat percentage that I need to lose. And it's not easy. Now that I'm 4 years older, because last time I was in shape, that was in 2020 and 2021, when the pandemic had started, and that's all I had to do was work out. Everything was closed down. But I was shredded though. And then again, I chunk up again, chunked up again. Now I didn't chunk up like I did back in 2017 and 18. I didn't chunk up that big, but I put on about 7 to 8 pounds, man. You know what I'm saying? That's too much weight. Like, you gotta maintain your weight. That's what I learned throughout the years, man. You gotta maintain your weight. When you start gaining weight, you gotta ease up off them carbs and work out more, So right now, I'm just carbing up because I'm about to work out. I got a pre-workout. I use my Rockstar as a pre-workout. And I'm about to work my ass off right now. I'm about to burn this fat. Yeah, baby. I didn't eat nothing solid, nothing like that. I just had a Rockstar. That was it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm about to beast. I didn't drink last night either. I should have a lot more energy in my workout. I want to drop all kinds of goddamn weight. I want to make things easier on myself. What's up with it? What's up with it, Captain? Because I've been starving, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been starving for companionship. That's what's been really been going on with me. And that's why you see me lashing out, flashing on people and stuff. Mixed emotions. You feel what I'm saying? When you're being starved, you got mixed emotions. One day you're all kind and soft. The next day you're flashing on people. You're flashing on females. You're mad. You're angry. You're pissed off. Stop being overweight. Stop chunking up, man. Humble yourself and go back to the drawing board, man. Like, man, you fat. Some motherfuckers can't take it that, they can't handle the truth. You know what I mean? You tell them they fat, they be like, no, I'm not fat. I'm not good. I'm good, man. I'm not overweight. I'm not overweight. What you mean I'm overweight? But everybody else telling you that you're fat, bro. That you need to lose some weight. And you just ignoring them. Like, nah, man, he right, man, you fat. You gotta lose some chunkage. How you gonna attract a woman and you're overweight? You wanna attract women that are not overweight. See? Be the best that you can be, man. Stop playing around. Today we having fun today, man. I try to have fun like every other day, man. Like a bowl of soup with some noodles. You guys know what I'm talking about. The Vietnamese pho. That's the healthiest of the healthiest out here, man. I try to have that at least every other day, like maybe like 4 times a week. Sometimes I get the brisket and steak. Sometimes I get the seafood pho. You feel me? I don't like the meatball pho, man. I don't like that. I never wasn't never too much a fan of the meatball pho. Feel me? So if something is wrong, man, you gotta spend time to fix it, man. Don't let it be broken for like years at a time, man. You just let it be broken. Like, nah, man, you gotta spend time fixing that shit, bro. A lot of dudes are struggling in the dating market, bro. I just subscribed to another channel just now, and this guy, he's honest. He's talking about his struggle in dating. And he's young. He like, what, 26 years old? And he's talking about the ghosting that the women be doing and shit like that. He's an average looking dude. He not sub 5. He just average looking, like most of us are, you know. And he had a video. It was called "Got Ghosted Again" or some shit like that, where females just ghosted out of nowhere. She had all the intentions, you know. It seemed she had all the intentions to hang out with him, but they never hooked up. She ghosted him, and and then he put at the end, "My dating life sucks." Man, that got the most views, man. That let me know how many dudes are struggling out here in the dating market, bro. A lot of niggas are silent with it though. They ain't gonna tell you that they struggling, but yeah, they struggling. They struggling in silence, you know. But it's more than me, man. A lot of guys out here struggling. It ain't just me, bro. You feel me? It ain't just me. It's a lot of dudes out here that just cannot get a good dating life, man, because of the top 20% of men, bro. That's what's really going on in these streets. That's not a myth. It is a fact that women are only dealing with the top 20% of men. You know, they rather share Chad and Tyrone than be with you. You know, the average women, they rather share Chad and Tyrone than be with an average man. It's the bigger guys coming down and eating off your plate. That's why the reason why you're struggling. You know, you got some good stuff on your plate. They all in your plate. Ooh, a 6. I'll mess with that, man. A 6 is cute. And then you can't even get a 6 because Chad and Tyrone is fucking 6s, bro. You know, Chad and Tyrone is fucking 6s. You're like, man, I gotta settle for sub 5 stalker because Chad and Tyrone is not fucking her. Those are the two guys you gotta worry about, man. Them dudes, they're ruthless, bro. Chad and Tyrone is ruthless. They're the biggest guys. They're the top guys. You know. And then another thing, women's standards have went higher throughout the years, man. You know, women's standards have went out through the roof. It ain't like before social media when women had lower standards. Nah, because of social media, because of the dating apps, women's standards went straight up out the roof. That's why the passport bro movement got started, because a lot of dudes are being locked out. I'm telling you, man. A lot of guys, I'm not really locked out. I'm struggling to get a female that I'm attracted to. That's my problem. All these like below average looking women, bro, I'm not into that. I never was into that when I was younger. But I realized, like, man, you want to attract a woman that's not overweight. You got to be not overweight yourself. You know, and I'm still overweight for my height. I'm like 5'9", I'm 200 and something pounds. I need to come down another 10 pounds probably. Well, not that. I said 9, not that. I said another 7 pounds. Because I don't want to look too skinny out here. You know, Kelcat, I'm in the streets, so I gotta maintain some type of size, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be pretty Ricky and shit. I want to keep my swellness. I want to keep my buffness and intimidate other dudes. You know, when you too skinny, man, that's when motherfuckers think they be getting ideas and stuff, thinking that they can fucking take you and shit. You know, thinking that they can fucking take you. Like, oh no, dude, I'm bigger than you. That's why I still fuck with my carbs. I still fuck with rice and pho and stuff like that, man. But anyway, man, I'm talking way too much. I gotta work out. Oh no, you gotta keep your size. when you're on the streets. You gotta have some type of build, man. The fools will think twice and fuck with you, man. I mean, if I wasn't on the streets, you feel me? I would lean the fuck up, really, like, I would get really thin, you know what I'm saying? But when you're on the streets, you gotta maintain your guns. I ain't talking about the real guns, I'm talking about the muscles. You gotta maintain those, bro. When you're on the streets, you gotta have some type of size. Cause it's your protection, man. Muscle has always been people's protection, you know? That's why motherfuckers get swole. Number one, to intimidate other men. Number two, to get women, you know what I'm saying? Number three, to stay in good health, you know? That's why dudes get swole, man. That's why I got swole when I was in high school. Shit, I got tired of motherfuckers picking on me. You feel me? I was really skinny, like in my freshman year of high school, and motherfuckers was fucking with me, man. And before that, like in junior high, man, I was getting fucked with. Because I was too skinny, I was so small. I was just like, man. And then when I got into my sophomore year in high school, that's when I started putting on the pounds. And I started, I started bulking up, going up in weight. And once I became buff and swole in high school, everybody left me alone. Nobody wanted to fight me then. My arms got big for real in high school, bro. I had huge arms. I still got huge arms now, but in high school, I had huge arms. I had all kinds of nicknames. Swole up, Swoly Poly, Big Buff, you know. Hey, the yard teacher used to call me Big Buff. He was like, hey, Big Buff, what you doing over there, Big Buff? Motherfucker, I got tired of motherfuckers picking on me, man, so I started lifting weights and got big. Came back, they was like, man, you must have been losing steroids over the summer, huh? Because I got buff over just a three month period. Like I was skinny in ninth grade. That was my freshman year in high school at McClymonds, right? McClymonds in Oakland. They call it MAC, for short, right? In high school, in my freshman year, I was really skinny. So motherfuckers want to fight me and shit like that, man. Motherfuckers outside just fighting, trying to fight me for no apparent reason, bro. I was getting jumped and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then so ninth grade ended. We went to the summertime. That's when I bulked up. Came back 10th grade, swole. Came back, man, motherfuckers looking at me like, man, what you been eating over the summer, bro? Hey, Kel, what you been eating, bro? You got swole over the summer like a motherfucker, bro. Because I think I had got a job teaching capoeira, right? And I was making like $100 and something bucks a week. So I was able to feed myself. My mother, she wasn't doing her job, so I was able to get sandwiches and stuff. I was eating sandwiches with lettuce and pickles and tomatoes and ham and cheese. You know what I'm saying? So that's your three food groups right there. You got carbs, you got protein, you know what I'm saying? And then you got the lettuce and the tomatoes and stuff. So I was eating that on a regular. And I came back to 10th grade. Everybody left me alone, bro. Nobody wanted to fight me in 10th grade, bro. Because I was on my shit. I was working out, lifting weights. And I was in martial arts. You feel what I'm saying? Still. And then my junior year, man, when I was in 11th grade, I was even bigger. You know what I'm saying? And I had no more fights. No more. Nobody wanted to fight me, bro. Because nobody wants to fight a swole nigga, bro. No. I had fights like coming up when I was really skinny. Cause motherfucker look at you like, man, I could take him. He hella skinny. Let me look at this bitch ass nigga right here. Let me punch him in the face. Bah! I mean, one time I was in junior high, and I was in the 8th grade or 7th or something like that. And this bigger dude walked up to me. He said, I don't like this motherfucker right here. And he socked me in the jaw. Pow! And I was like, man. And I looked at how big he was. And I sat there and I held my jaw. And I must have had rushed him. And then he took me, he threw me against the wall, bro. And started pounding me. And I was like, shit. I lost that fight, even though I tried. I was just so skinny. I was too skinny to win. I was too short, too skinny. I was like 5'7" in junior high. Okay? I grew a couple more inches when I got to high school. Of course, everybody grows a little bit more. But I was just so skinny. Had a big ass afro and shit. A lopsided afro. You know what I'm saying? Some generic clothes on. I was just like, man. I was just a target. And then when I got to be, as soon as I got to, how old was I? I think I was like 17 when I started getting swole. I was in 10th grade. You know, I just turned 17. What was I, 16? Was I 16? No, 16, my bad. I was 16. And I just got to the 10th grade, and I put on size, man, and everybody just said, "Okay, not fighting this guy no more, man. He done put on some muscle, man." You know, like I said, there's a reason why dudes work out and get into shape. You know, either they've been picked on throughout high school. Getting picked on, you get tired of being sick and tired, you know what I'm saying, of being the runt, getting picked on by everybody. So I used to start lifting weights, you know, start taking martial arts and stuff, man, and that was it, man. You know, and that was before Capoeira too. You know, getting socked in the jaw. This guy's walked up and said, I don't like this motherfucker. Bah! And I sat there, I was like, oh no. And dude was bigger than me. Of course he was bigger than me. Of course, I'm pretty sure if he was like even my size or he was smaller than me, he would never have did that. But since he was taller and bigger and had a bigger frame, you know, he felt like he could do it because he could look at me and tell that he could take me because I was so skinny. These motherfuckers look at you, bruh, and you hella skinny, and they're bigger and stronger than you, they're gonna pick on you, because they like, oh man, this is prey, you know? It's like cat and mouse and shit like that, man. The instinct of a cat is to chase a little mouse, man. The same thing with bigger, stronger men. Their instinct is to pick on you in high school or in junior high or whatever, you know? Their instinct is to show my dominance on this motherfucker right here. It's called the pecking order, you know. You know, I didn't have no bigger brothers around or nothing like that, man, or older brothers, no cousins at that time. My mom was a Jehovah's Witness. We couldn't even hang out around our own family and shit. You know. But once I got to 11th grade, I was like 16. That's when I started putting on the muscle, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just in my genetics to be swole, man, and to have a six-pack too. I was more shredded in high school though, man. But those times have passed now, man. You know, I'm getting old now. And I gotta start thinking about the future more instead of the present, you know? The short bald guy talking about he taking a break from YouTube He probably been thinking that's a waste of goddamn time to be uploading videos complaining all the time. You know, so I'm taking a little break from social media. Yeah, you should. You shouldn't be on here complaining, man. You should be out there building your wealth, man. You know, us guys under 6 feet tall, we gotta try harder. That's just the way it is. You're under 6 feet tall, you gotta try harder. You better be swole or something. You better have money or something, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the first thing they see a 5'9" guy, he too short. He too short. Nah, he's too short. I'm not gonna deal with him. I seen that on Pop the Balloon. One guy was on there, he got rejected because he was 5'9". And the female, she was 4'11" and shit. I'm like, God damn, bro, you should have rejected her. At 4'11", I'm not gonna get with a 4'11" female, man. That's too short. 5 foot for me is too short. She's too short. You know what I'm saying? They think the same thing. They think like, I want taller children. I want a guy that's 6 foot, even though I'm 4'11". You see, the standards of the women in the West have gotten higher. You know. That's why dudes are flooding into other countries, especially older guys who are way past their prime, like 50s and 60s. They flock into other countries when they're not millionaires, you know. They got a pension that's coming in for the rest of their life. They flock into other countries. You know, it's like nowadays you gotta be a thousandaire, a millionaire to have a really good dating life, because motherfuckers are out there hustling, bro. Just do self-improving around you like you wouldn't believe. That's why it's so hard for you, because motherfuckers actually believe in self-improvement. They're like, man, I'm not gonna stay at ground zero my whole entire life. They got motherfuckers out here, entrepreneurs, millionaires. You know, that's why it's so hard if that's what you're asking. Why is dating nowadays so hard for the average man? Just look around you. Niggas got their shit together, okay? Motherfuckers, they ruthless. You gotta get ruthless with them, man. You gotta chase that bag with them, man. You gotta be a force to be reckoned with yourself. You feel me? You gotta be a force to be reckoned with. You gotta be in shape. Number one, that's number one. Physical attractiveness. Okay, you gotta be in shape. You can't have a big old gut. Can't be fat, out of shape. You can't be doing that, bro. You feel me? Number two, your money gotta be in order. You gotta win at life, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you're not a Chad or a Tyrone, you gotta be working harder. That's all I gotta say. Can't afford to be overweight. Can't afford to be this. You can't afford to be that. You can't afford to be slacking. You can't afford to stay at ground zero your whole entire life. You gotta always be escalating, or what they call it. Escalation. Escalating is okay. Going up, you know, whatever. Escalation or escalating. You know. Evolving. You gotta be always evolving, bro. The human race is evolving. You see how we came a long way with these cars, right? Back in the 70s and the 80s, we didn't have no computers in the car, man. And now you got a computer in the car now. You got navigational systems that we didn't have before. You know? Everything's getting more high tech. Because motherfuckers want to make money. That's why technology exists right now. Them dating apps and social media. You know, that's putting money into the economy. And it's putting money into motherfuckers' pockets. So all the motherfuckers, they're always trying to figure out how to make money. Trying to figure a way how to make money. They always thinking about, how can I make some money? How can I fatten my pockets? How can I get over on the next man? How can I, they thinking with their brains and their heart, and their mind and shit, and their soul. They putting their soul and their heart and their mind into the work, you know, just trying to figure out ways to make money to have a better life for themselves at the cost of your life being held. They know they must have had known they was gonna ruin the average man's life once they invented those dating apps. They must have had known. And they must have been trolling too. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna try to figure a way how to fatten my pockets and fuck up your sex life, fuck up your life, fuck up your dating life. You know, it's like they want the world to shrink or something. Population control and shit like that. Too many people on the earth, so we gotta invent something to shrink the population. You know. Because the dating apps, that's Chad and Tyrone's playground. I don't care what nobody say, bro. It's a nightmare for you, though, for the average man. But for Chad and Tyrone, the dating apps is a playground. My Arabic Chad friend was like, yo, man, I'm killing it on these dating apps. Because I guess he never really used the dating apps before the pandemic. And when the pandemic hit, he was more on dating apps. All of a sudden, I'm killing it, man. I'm like hitting 3 times a week, man. I'm getting it 3 times a week. 3 different women. And I was like, great, just great. And Chad gets all the women, including the average women. I saw him, Arabic Chad, he was fucking with average women, man. I seen him. As long as the average woman had a big butt, he was all in. So that's why it's so hard for the average man to get the average guy. That's why it's so hard for the average man to get the average girl, because of Chad and Tyrone. These guys are your nemesis, bro. They're your competition. Even rich men struggle against Chad and Tyrone. You see, Tyrese is struggling because he got to compete with Chad and Tyrone. You know, those guys are, like I said, man, those guys are ruthless, bro. They'll take your girl from you, man. You know what I'm saying? They'll steal your woman from you. Even if you're rich, you still got to worry about them. You know? Still got to worry about Chad and Tyrone. You know? I mean, those dudes, don't get me wrong, they're the coolest dudes in the world. And they cool because, you know, they got a good dating life. They can date Stacy's and Keisha's all the time. You feel what I'm saying? Most Chads and Tyrones are very cool people. They're not like mad or angry when you meet these dudes. These dudes are the nicest dudes, the coolest dudes in the world. They never get angry. I never seen a Chad or a Tyrone get angry, and I seen Chads and Tyrones around here, man. I know a Arabic Chad. As long as I known that guy, he never got angry. He never was upset about nothing. He always had a cool attitude, bro. And he was very outgoing and stuff. The dude was fun to be around. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was hanging out with him. He was fun to be around, man. He was always joking and kidding and laughing and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Life is good for him, man. You know what I'm saying? That's how I know looks are everything. Because when you're getting laid all the time, bro, what is there to be angry about? You ain't pissed off. Why would you be? You got a Stacy or a Keisha in the background waiting for you. You know, you're getting top tier women. He even told me he got with a couple of 10s in his life. So I said, oh shit, that's something that I won't be able to do until I get some money. And he didn't have to have money. He was working as a bouncer at a bar where I used to hang out at and shit. feel me? What they say, Chad and Tyrone always win. Yeah, that's right. Them dudes always win, bro. You know, dudes like Tyrese, he got to worry about Chad and Tyrone because he's dating their looks match. You know, he has to worry about Chad and Tyrone, even though he rich, he worth $30 million, but he's still sub 5. He's still below average looking. But women aren't gonna deal with him just for the money, and he knows that. You know, he knows he gotta have money for women to deal with him, bro. You know. So Chad and Tyrone are the ones you gotta be worried about, and they are your competition, cause they sleeping with average women too. So that's not a good thing for the average man at all. It's just making women flock to the 20% of men, bro. That's what it is. And that's why you got to work hard to get in there, man. Get into that 20% of men, bro, that they dealing with. And money, and lots of it, shit, that would put you in the 20% of men, bro. So get to it, chop, chop. I got to go. You guys have a good day. I just had some of that energy drink. I'm ready to work out right now. I'm about to burn this shit off. You guys have a good day. I'm out. I'll be back on after I work out. Peace out, take care, and bless. I'm out. Come on, man, turn this shit off. Okay.